Hello. Nutrition can be very confusing. It is very difficult to understand what the different population groups should and should not be consuming. Then there is what amount is safe and unsafe. Today we're going to delve into key findings from current literature and studies regarding are men consuming adequate amounts of nutrients and food groups. Let's get started. The areas we will cover today are the 5 food groups and the average recommended daily serves for men. Are men adhering to these recommendations? We'll look at the statistics that back whether men are following the recommendations and what are the implications of poor health. And finally, how can the staff at the lunch bunch assist their male customers with their meal choices to meet these nutrition recommendations? Our diet plays an essential role in a person's overall health and well-being. It provides all the required components in balance for optimum health. When the balance is off kilter, that is, the components in the way of energy and nutrients are consumed in either insufficient or excessive amounts. Acute and chronic disease is the result. How do we know we have the right balance? We observe the recommended average daily number of serves of the 5 food groups for our chosen target audience. In this case, we're looking at men. Here is a table of the recommendations for men according to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. Are Australian men, our husbands, fathers, brothers, sons, friends, work colleagues and value customers adhering to these recommendations? The simple answer is no. Let's have a look at the stats. The prevalence of overweight and obesity has increased dramatically over the past 30 years. Almost 2/3, 63% of our adult population are overweight or obese, with 36% overweight and 28% obese. Only 1/3 of Australian adults maintain a healthy body weight. 42% of the Australian adult males are overweight or obese. The overconsumption of some foods and drinks leading to an excess energy intake and consequently increases adiposity is now the key public health problem in Australia. Most of the burden of disease is due to poor nutrition in Australia is associated with excess intake of energy-dense and relatively nutrient-poor food, high in energy, saturated fat, added or refined salts or sugars, and or inadequate intake of nutrient-dense foods, including vegetables, fruit, and whole grain cereals. Deficiencies in some nutrients such as iodine, folate, iron, and vitamin D is also a concern for some Australians. The level of overweight and obesity in Australia varies according to the geographical location and is higher outside major cities. In 2014-15, around three-quarters of men living in inner regional and outer regional and remote areas were overweight or obese compared to 69% of men living in major cities. Poor nutrition can lead to a long list of many health implications, such as we've listed a few here: obesity, chronic heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, cancer, type 2 diabetes. So how do we help our Australian men to enjoy life to the fullest with their loved ones and not send them to an early grave? So here are some ways: through weight loss, eating a variety of healthy fruits and vegetables, engaging in some regular exercises, and seeking the help and support of friends, family, as well as the expertise of a professional in nutrition. And how can the team at the Lunch Bunch assist? I've listed below a few examples to get you started. Maybe some menu change suggestions to help customers make better choices, and suggestive selling fruit to encourage meeting the recommended daily intake. Can you think of any more ways to help your customers?